Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by TheLines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. We're getting ahead of this stuff on a Tuesday, early here. It's Monday night still, but we're looking at this slate on Tuesday night for you guys. We've got best bets with some sides and totals looks for you here. Also going to have player props up in a separate episode, so make sure you are subscribed to that channel and continue to follow along all season with us. Also want to make sure that you do check out in the description of this video. We've got the link to the email newsletter, and we are putting that out every Friday now, so you can stay up to date on everything you need to know in the sports betting news world there. Also have that bonus pick that Nate and myself are putting in there, a little parlay with some plus money for you guys every Friday. Make sure you are checking that out. But let's go ahead and jump into some early stuff here for Tuesday, Nate.
Yeah, and if you can get this early, OKC -9 at Sacramento with the Kings on a back-to-back. We haven't even seen them tip off yet against the Celtics, but we know Sabonis is going to play, and who knows if he's going to be good to go on the second leg of the back-to-back. He has missed plenty of time lately. Malik Monk out sick. I would be surprised if he goes against the Thunder. And this Kings team has lost 6 of their last 7 without Monk going into the Celtics game. Only shooting 33% from deep, only scoring 108 a game. And that's not going to get it done against the best defense in the league, where you have to hit tough threes to space them out a little bit, get them off you. So how often do we just see teams punt against OKC, especially when they're in a short rest spot, and just be like, all right, we're not playing anybody. Like, we'll get the next one because this team is juggernaut. So, I don't know if the Kings have that kind of gene in them as a coaching staff. It probably goes all the way up to ownership, who's just like, no, we compete no matter what. I don't think they have much of a chance here. They have the worst defensive rating in the league going in their last 8 going into this Celtics game. I'm on the Celtics tonight. Hope that they can pull it out with the -4 here. I'll take the extra points with OKC, even though Chet and J-Dub both might not go. We've seen OKC with every starter sitting cover two big spreads recently. They've covered 4 of their last 5 as double-digit favorites. Since that weird Brooklyn game where the Nets shot an insane shooting regression game, they've won by 14 plus against every non-playoff team, and that's not top 6. So that's anyone in the play-ins. Technically, the Kings are that here, clinging to the 10 spot. But they've been damn bad in every category. We covered some of that. In terms of above the break threes, field goals at the rim, getting Sabonis back is a Band-Aid. Even with Keon Ellis, they're not going to be able to slow down SGA, who is averaging 36 a game in his last 4 against the Kings. Kings are plus 19 net, and they've won all 4 by double digits here in this matchup. So with the rest advantage, I would expect them to do what they do, just exert their will and win by double digits.
Yeah, for sure. I can't see Sabonis playing tomorrow, playing maybe the 2 best teams in the league back to back like that with that injury. He's probably somewhat capped tonight, even with the expectation that he's out tomorrow. So there's they're going to be behind the 8 ball, and yeah, it's just going to be the Isaiah Joes and Aaron Wiggins is kind of coming out and playing their all and not stopping, not taking their foot off the gas. They just put up 141 when they didn't have to, because the guys on the bench are not coming into the game and going like, yeah, let's slow up, guys, and like not hurt the Hornets' feelings. They're like, all right, y'all want to tank? We got guys that want to play, and it's not going to be exact tanking, but it makes sense that they would somewhat throw it, and that even if they play their guys, not Sabonis not included, I don't see him playing, but even if Monk comes back, for instance, like I see it getting out of control pretty quickly, and it's just not tailor-made for a Malik Monk game, even if he does come back. So yeah, I think this is a good look, even a high spread for you for something that you don't really like to get all the way up to -9, but I totally agree. I think this should be in double digits, and it will be by tomorrow. So let's go ahead to Charlotte. We got a game here that's got another team on that'll be on the second leg of their back-to-back with Orlando. They're in Charlotte. They're 4.5. Look, I got to tell you right now, I would take this up to the 7.5. So like, there's just, it's not gonna be there. 4.5. It's them getting the early spread comes out in the middle of Orlando's game, playing a tough one against the Lakers. But like Cole Anthony didn't play, and he was the only one that was questionable. There's nobody that's really sitting on back-to-backs. Orlando's making their push entirely, and I think they're gonna whoop them, just like they whooped up on the Lakers tonight and had an incredible showing once again. And that's all really due to the fact that their offense doesn't look nearly as terrible as it did like 10 games ago when they were 28th in the league in offense. Now in their last 5, they're up to 16th in offense, which is really what you need. Don't need much more than that. If you can be middle of the pack, which they were last year on offense, then you can be a top 5 defensive rated team like they are on defense, and you can get by and make some headway, maybe make it to the second round in the playoffs, but certainly handle a team like Charlotte, who will probably have their guys. Like there's no weird back-to-back. LaMelo and company will be out there. Mark will be out there. After that, like after Bridges and them, and then like maybe Josh Green, who is coming up occasionally looking hurt as well over the course of the last week, like it's not really relevant. They're just giving other guys burn behind them, and as long as Orlando handles the 3 main guys, then they're in good shape here. And a key is going to be the fact that their defense is going to turn defense into offense, and the LaMelo balls are probably going to continue to have trouble keeping the ball and not turning it over. They are 28th on the season in turnover percentage. LaMelo up over 3 per game over his last 15. And if you want to do that against Orlando, you're going to be in trouble, because that is how they'll turn defense into offense. It's a lot of points off of turnovers. Most of their fast break is points off of turnovers. There's not a lot of them getting it and going, as we know, right? But if they're going to play that ball hawking defense up top, then yeah, I'm going to like them to be, well, at this point, they're number 1. I should have mentioned that, number 1 in turnover percentage forced by the other team. So that's obviously going to turn into a bunch of stuff for them. But yeah, really everything here is just like, I don't need to get any more deeper, I should say, into the matchup. I think this thing is good up to 8, maybe 9 points, and Orlando is in game mode.
Yeah, I was going to go right here as well when I saw the -5. Yeah, it's just too low. Given Charlotte, and now I'm looking into their recent production against Orlando, which is a team that just smothers the life out of bad offenses. And Charlotte, except for a garbage April game, has not really broken 90 points against Orlando in 6 straight matchups. So team total under might be a look here, even with, I mean, if you get Frollo on fewer minutes, because they both played about 40 right tonight, then the Magic will just throw those big wings at Charlotte and just probably choke the life out of them. I remember thinking in that play-in tournament that Hornets would cover just because Paolo was going to be out. And yeah, they got absolutely stomped with just Franz and a bunch of defenders, right? Way back in December. So Dallas and New York, I like the under at 222 here, but strong lean also to the Mavericks covering. I mean, they're correlated. I think the Mavs have got some life now. And turn to the tide a little bit. I mean, not reading too much into beating the shorthanded Nets, although they did beat them pretty handily here tonight. Just we're seeing a little bit more depth, certainly, and just a little more fight now that they know AD is back. And I mean, he's not going to go on a back-to-back for sure. So that's one thing you can count on. I think most other guys are going to be good. Maybe no PJ Washington, but yeah, maybe no Dinwiddie, but they have plenty of guards behind him in terms of how they're going to be able to compete. But as far as like thinking about under here, that's just what the Knicks have been doing, right? They've been a walking under for 6 straight. 225 has been the ceiling for them, and that was with the Spurs and with them pounding out the Wizards a little bit. But they've turned into a defense first team. They're not going to be missing Deuce on top of Jalen Brunson. So I just don't know, like, what everything's got to run through Cat, right? Like there's no other real creator here for the Knicks. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges have just run out of gas at this point in the season. The Knicks are basically locked to the 3 seed. So why would they really be going gung-ho here? And they're no longer at all like a heavy volume 3-point shooting team, and nor are they getting burned by the 3-pointer. And Dallas ain't shooting threes either. In fact, they're dead last in 3-point frequency, right? In the last 6 year, both teams below average in transition frequency. But so they're both depending on twos and getting to the line, and both are limiting that as well. So it seems like an under here. We might see some really ugly lineups from Dallas at times, and the Knicks just missing their creators. You know, no shade to Campaign, but he is a third string point guard, I guess.
Well, I mean, the no shade to champagne, the no shade to Campaign, easy for me to say, is not, it's valid, because it's like, well, that's not what Campaign does. This offense is like, you don't just slot Campaign into Jalen Brunson's spot, right? The Jalen Brunson style offense, it's not even really runnable with Deuce. We've seen the touches really go more to like Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OG, and of course Cat. Those have been the areas where Jalen Brunson's touches have really gone, and that's crushed their offense. It's crushed it because it's all predicated on, it's like having a cowbell back and being like, we've got the best running back in the league who can carry the ball 300 times in a season, 400 times in a season, and then you've got, his replacement is like a scat back. It's like, this ain't going to work. This whole offense is predicated on this guy being a bully and doing his thing. It's really similar to Jalen Brunson being a bully and doing his thing that just sucks in the defense and creates for others. And it just ain't there anymore. So they got to find other ways to score. And it ain't going to be because Campaign's coming in and doing that role, doing that job. But let me get it over here. I got the Pistons and I got the Spurs. And we're in Detroit. It's at 233.5. Might rise. I think it's going to fluctuate between like 233, 236. I think will be the ceiling for that. So we'll see. Cade Cunningham is questionable. Tim Hardaway Jr. is also questionable. And those two things are hyper relevant, but not really to the total. If you look at them on the season, the defensive rating for this Detroit team in the 6 games that Cade was not available was 121. And in the 66 games, 11 times the games that he's been in this season, 112.8 defensive rating. So like that's stark to me for sure. The teams that they played to, there's some not great squads in there, but as far as the offensive rating, pretty much the same. And they're looking at like slightly fewer points without him, but they still get up to like 112 per 100 with him. So, or excuse me, 122 per 100 without him. So like, I'm still good with that number, right? With the possessions, the pace doesn't really slow down either. If anything, I just think we're going to see plenty of shots in general in this situation where with the Spurs, obviously the way that we know that they've been playing defense, they've gotten better in their last 5 as they played some of the worst offenses in the league and have probably felt good about that. Up to like actually 11th in defensive rating in the last 5. But in the last 10, where they played slightly better teams, definitely 24th in D rating, pace is up to 11th. The Pistons playing really fast this season. I feel like that's something that we haven't really talked about, but especially with the addition in what was it, like November when Osar came back, that's been, them just being one of the fastest paced teams in the league, 9th on the season. 4th in their last 10, playing some pretty bad teams themselves. But I think the offense on both sides is really just going to be like, well, the Spurs have become a really good jump shooting team that has been getting out into transition a ton and attacking the rim. They've actually been doing that pretty consistently, but it's mostly like above the break stuff has really improved for them. When you've got like the difference between sort of like D Fox being above the break guy, not the best 3-point shooter, whereas now we have a lot more Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, even Keldon Johnson in the corners has been huge for them. They're up to 9th in corner 3 frequency. So there's going to be a lot of areas where they're good and able to break down this Pistons defense, which has been really bad, just defending sort of primary ball handlers and getting broken down the middle on defense. And that's where the Spurs with Chris Paul running some pick and roll, whether it's with Bismack, whether it's with HB, when Sohan, when he comes in, it's been pretty effective. And I like some Chris Paul stuff here. If Stephon Castle sits, then I like CP3 to kind of take over big time and get like, if we have him at like anything under 10 points, I'm going to love that number for him against a defense that's going to give up a lot of what he wants to do on offense.
Yeah, Detroit's been a fun team. League Pass MVP, I guess. Recently they just play these wild games, these high scoring, fast paced games at times if they don't blow the other team away. And Spurs are give them some credit. They've been feisty lately. So if it is a competitive game, I think this one goes over. Even though we're talking about usually correlation going the other way. So I kind of like the Spurs to cover along with the over. I mean, certainly if Cade's out, you're going to feel better about an 8-9 point spread against the Pistons right now.
Yep, it's going to be the Dennis Schroeder game, which, I mean, look, we'll see if that spread actually, the total rather drops if Cade is listed out. I mean, I think you can definitely wait for that as we're recording here early. So I want to like kind of get that in there because I'm looking at like Schroeder on off now too. And I'm really putting him into the lineup, much better defensive guard up top. Right. And Cade, not even really guarding up top. It's been mostly like THJ and Osar at the top. But I think they're actually going to be a little bit better on defense. Schroeder slows things down a ton as well. So there might be something to just focusing on something slightly different, waiting for that total to come down to see what happens with Cade and company. But that's all the time we have for you in this one. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that channel and check out the best bets we have, the player props we have in a separate episode. These are the best bets. And we will see you tomorrow. So until then, happy betting.